Welcome. This video we're going to cover Chapter 7 and we'll be discussing networks and setting up a local network. There are multiple network types plus internet connections that we use. You can connect a computer via wired or wireless network. We will discuss using a home router. Home routers are multifunctional and easy to use. And we'll also discuss troubleshooting network connections using the command line. The various types of networks can be categorized as follows. The personal area network, or PAN, typically consists of personal devices such as a cell phone or laptop. Local area network, or LAN, covers a small area such as a home, office, or building. A wide area network, or WAN, covers a large geographical area and is made up of multiple LANs. Then Metropolitan Area Network, or MAN, covers a large campus or city. The TCC network could be considered a MAN as it covers the 6 campuses within the Tarrant County. Finally, a wireless mesh network, WMN, covers a limited geographical area and is used in areas where high-speed cabling such as fiber is difficult or too expensive to install. Depending on the size of the network, it is really just a LAN, but because it is used in wireless, someone thought they needed to create another acronym for us to use. An ISP is an internet service provider, which is the company that provides users with access to the internet. Most common type of connections for home use is DSL and cable. Typically, the ISPs provide more download bandwidth than upload bandwidth. Bandwidth is the maximum theoretical transmission rate, whereas data throughput is the actual network transmission rate or speed. Latency is the amount of delay on the network. Latency is measured by the time it takes for a data packet to travel from the source to the destination and then back to the source. Latency under 100 milliseconds is supposedly acceptable. However, I would say you really want latency to be under 40 milliseconds. The lower the better, and anything over 100 milliseconds is extremely poor and should be considered totally unacceptable in today's standards. Here is a graphical representation of a typical home user setup. You have an ISP providing internet access via DSL or cable. In the home, you have a modem, and then connected to the modem is a router. The router typically has multiple functions, such as also being a wireless access point, as well as being a wired network switch. Thus, you can have clients, computers connected to the router via Ethernet cable or wirelessly. Good. Alright, cable internet uses the existing cable TV infrastructure and lines. TV and internet share the same cable, and the cable modem converts the PC digital signals to analog and then converts the incoming analog signal back to digital signals for our computers. Cable internet is a shared access. You will share the bandwidth with your neighbors. Thus, it is common to have periods of extreme usage that create bottlenecks in some neighborhoods, which can drastically slow down your access to the internet. DSL, or digital subscriber line, is a group of broadband technologies that cover a wide range of speeds. DSL typically is carried over copper phone lines and uses the unused voice frequencies to carry the signal. DSL is a direct connection and is not shared like a cable connection. You can use the same line for phone and internet at the same time without any degradation in voice or internet. So cable versus DSL. Both can actually be purchased on a sliding scale, X amount of bandwidth for X amount of dollars. What's getting cable is a shared service and may become degraded if you or your neighbors are all accessing and downloading or streaming from the internet at the same time. DSL uses a dedicated phone line, however. You do not need to use a filter if you plan You do need to use a filter if you plan to use a voice phone, which typically no one does today, as cell phones have more or less replaced a house phone line, but is still an option. The setup, installation, and maintenance is similar for both DSL and cable. Thus, it really depends on the availability to your location as to what options you may have. However, given that cable is a shared line, unless the price is substantially lower, or if you know the support of the cable company is substantially better than the offering DSL companies, DSL is likely to be a better solution. DSL filters are needed on any phone jack that has a phone. You do not use a filter for DSL modems to the computer. You just need a filter if you're going to use the phone service of DSL, the voice service. Here's a picture of a typical cable modem with a coax cable coming in from the cable company, and an Ethernet cable going out for the local area network, i.e. home computers. It also has the ability to provide phone service using voice over IP, just like DSL can offer voice. The cable company can offer voice options, but it's voice over IP, where DSL is straight voice over copper lines. Fiber is becoming an option that is available like DSL. It is dedicated without line sharing. Fiber can provide TV, internet, and voice all over the same fiber optic cable. Bandwidth up and down, and pricing will vary. Although gigabit fiber to the home is becoming very popular in certain areas, but it's not available in most areas. For some, there are no high-speed internet options available other than satellite or wireless. Satellites are useful for remote areas, as satellites can be used everywhere, including airplanes, although there are some major drawbacks such as needing line of sight, and the latency for satellites is extremely long, because you have the delays for the packets have to go all the way up to reach the satellite and then back down. The time delay is extreme. Dial-up is rarely seen today. It is, though, the least expensive and also the slowest connection. Cellular WAN or wireless wide area networks, WWAN or WWAN, covers a wide area and is made up of cells created by base stations. Each base station will include one or more transceivers and antennas. And there are two major cellular technologies, GSM and CDMA, with LTE long-term evolution and voice over long-term evolution LTE that will likely replace GSM and CDMA eventually. To connect to a cellular network, you need the proper hardware and software plus a subscriber identification module or SIM card. There are many options for hardware. Some are mobile modems, cell phone tethering, and mobile hotspots. Now this just graphically depicts a cellular WAN, which is made up of multiple cells. SIM cards provide you access to the cellular network, and they're usually on the back of the phone, under the battery, if you can get to them. This is showing how you can tether your laptop to your cell phone. And here's a USB broadband cellular modem providing internet access to a laptop. This is end of part 1. In our next section, we'll cover connecting to the local area LAN.